Hey there, how's it going? And in today's video, I'm going to cover a topic that I believe is going to be beneficial for all of you guys. And if you don't know who I am Chris Hernandez. I'm an 18-year-old entrepreneur. I run my own ad agency, and we specifically help ecom brands scale to 6 to 7 figures using Facebook ads. And in today's video, I see a lot of people have doubt when they make their first initial investment or when they're first getting started, right? And I want to share with you how I overcame that doubt myself when I made my first initial investment and wanting to learn how to get started running my own ad agency. So I looked at it like this, and ultimately this business model, this framework, growing up when I was 16, when I was 15, I was really obsessed with the ecom niche as well. But more particularly, I steered the way of drop shipping, right? I looked at drop shipping as my first initial meeting of the digital space and how to run a business online. But as I was studying and as I invested courses into drop shipping and learning how to become a drop shipper, as I turned 18, I realized that this wasn't the actual business model that was going to take me to 6 figures because it wasn't an actual business. The profit margins were trash. Also, spinning up when you have no money and you have to put up your own money to get started with dropshipping, and in order to scale your ads and in order to test products efficiently, you need that upfront capital, which I didn't have at the time. So that really made me cause a shift and to pivot into the agency space, because the business model of being the middleman hasn't been so apparent. Now more than ever, the opportunity has been amazing to take the leap into the agency space, especially after the pandemic. I've noticed other people in the space who got started prior when COVID was going on, and they're able to scale their business to 10K per month in profit because simply they followed the steps they needed, they took action, and they ultimately eliminated the doubt they had in their mind through consistent action. And really, I don't know if you stumbled upon this video or if you may have watched some of my previous videos, but I talk about the important concept that comes to mind with the reality of running an agency. And although the agency may seem flashy, right, it's a great business to start up when you have no upfront capital, but you want to get started with building an actual online business. So with that being said, right, running an agency has never been simpler now more than ever. And especially after the shift with the whole pandemic, there's been a lot of way more opportunities happening in the e-com space. You have a lot of brick and mortar stores coming over and transferring in and looking to build their own online business. And ultimately, when you have a business, whether it's online or brick and mortar, the ideal goal is to get more clients or more customers at the door and to ultimately buy more products. But the need for advertising is always going to be there. It's been there since way back, since as the 1900s as to now. You look at advertising online, you cannot succeed online without advertising. So the need for paid traffic is always going to be there, right? And then the doubt of getting started. So when I got started, right, I made a huge mess. I remember I brought on my first client and I failed miserably, didn't get him results, and ultimately overpromised and severely underdelivered. So it's a part of the game to have this doubt, and it's a normal process. You just take it in stride and use that to ultimately fuel you. And at times when you get low, you just have to understand that you're building a business. You're making the sacrifices right now to build a long-term business. And although right now your vision may seem somewhat unclear, ideally the goal is always going to be there, and taking the time and taking the action and being consistent with it's going to get you to that point. And you're going to realize that the problems you face right now are only going to get easier as you progress and understand and learn more and spend more time running an agency and managing the team. So you're only going to develop as time progresses. Now, the problems you may face are going to change, and they may be different or somewhat more complex, but ideally, you progressing and you understanding and having that experience is going to make your process easier, and it's going to eliminate somewhat of that doubt you have. So there's never a perfect time to get started. I say the best way to learn and to get started is simply by just taking massive action. That's the best way I've learned. I realized, and I made a promise to myself that I knew I was going to fail when I brought on my first client. I knew that this was going to be an issue, but it's a growing pain, and it's something you have to adapt with, and you just take it in stride, and ultimately just look at and use that as a reinforcement for you to get better individually, and also when it comes to your business. So really, that's the main thing, is there's never a perfect time. You just have to take your failures in stride, and you have to learn from them, because essentially what you didn't work, but you now have to regroup, take emotions out of it, and just operate on logic and understand that, all right, this didn't work, but let's try something else. Because you look at scientists who've experimented, they've went through countless trials and errors and failed numerous thousands of times, but that last objection, that last action step allowed them to succeed. And if you don't take action, you're never going to succeed. And if you don't learn from failures, you're never going to succeed. It's just a part of the game. And it's ultimately what separates the experts from the beginners, is just having that experience and going through those failures and just continuing to keep going and to keep striving forward. So that's really, I'd say, anybody that wants to get started, just take massive action, put your head down, and just make a mess, because now is now. There's never gonna be a perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of this time you have. And ultimately, the people that I encounter with, the people that I work with, are on a similar age space as me, right? They're either between 18 to 21. Maybe they're living at home, but ultimately they want to build a business because they realize that what was programmed from us from the very beginning is not the route we should take. I saw a report, I'd say about a month ago, where it's about millennial net worth by age, and the average 25-year-old was in debt like negative 30 grand just from those college expenses. Because you graduate, you go to a 4-year university. Let's say you want to study business, you pay over 100 grand for that degree, and then ultimately it's hard for you to get a job because the degrees are so oversaturated. A lot of people are getting degrees left and right, and when you could have used that 100 grand, right? Let's say you put 100 grand into yourself and make the investment into learning from entrepreneurs on a higher level than you. If you spent 100 grand into investments alone for your own education, think about the business you could have built with that 100K investment into your own education for your business, learning from entrepreneurs who've done it themselves. So I take that in stride, and nothing is guaranteed, especially what happened with the whole craziness in the country as well with the whole pandemic. People who were at companies for like over 10 years got laid off because of this, the situation and the economics behind it. So nobody is safe. Who says that maybe in 2 years from now we might get hit with another recession? I think about how many jobs are going to be unavailable. So being your own boss and taking the step into building your own business that nobody can tell you what to do, I mean, that's a very powerful aspect. And the amount of power you're able to have by building a business the opportunity has never been clearer, because you can simply seek out mentorship, and then you could ultimately have somebody guide you step by step to grow this business. So the opportunity has never been better. And if you want to get started but you don't know how, just feel free to message me. And I've made a couple videos regarding my own journey and how I was able to get here. But there's never going to be an excuse. There's never going to be a different route than just taking massive action. That's ultimately the best way to learn. And you're only going to get better if you take massive action. Because think about it. I want to use this analogy, but I've noticed a couple entrepreneurs use it as well. But look at it as compare two people. You have group A, you have group B. So essentially they both share the same goals. They want to be financially free. But one, let's say group A, they take massive action, right? They don't try to be too perfect. They just get down and dirty and they just take massive action. And you have the other group where it's a person, but they're trying to be concise. They want to make all the right investments. They don't take any action until they've felt confident in what they know. So the person who takes massive action and just gets down and dirty is ultimately going to progress faster than the person that waits and tries to be perfect. And learning from my experience, if I could go back in time, I'd just take massive action and just fail a lot quicker. And I think ultimately I'd be at a better place financially if I made that risk and just started out the gate from just taking massive action, right? So there's never going to be a perfect time. The best time to start is actually right now. And make that upfront investment, and just know that you may not see any results in 90 days, but it's a part of the process, and you're sacrificing initially this time you have right now so you can live financially free for the rest of your life. So that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, comment them down below. If you're interested in working with my agency and what we do, also feel free to contact me. I'll leave a link in my calendar down below. And essentially, more content is going to be coming soon around certain topics. I want to touch more into the technical side of business, as well as just providing as much value as I can, guys. So without further ado, guys, hope you have a great day, and looking forward to releasing more content for you guys. So talk to you soon. See ya.